Hello, how are you doing today? I hope that you are finding ways to have a good day today so far, and if it's a crap day, I hope you find some pick-me-up. So I am at least one full chapter behind where I wanted to be. Oh, let me put my earrings on. I feel naked without earrings. Yeah, I'm at least a full chapter behind, which is unfortunate. I had some technology struggles. YouTube would not let me upload, but on top of the technology glitch, this week has just been really high anxiety as far as what it's like to be a midlife army. Obviously, I already have and had predisposition and issues coming into being an army. If you are brand new here, there are a gazillion videos that I've done that chronicle the absolute disastrous hot mess moment I was in when BTS reached in and grabbed hold of me, and their voices changed my life forever, and I'm forever thankful for that. My cat is stuck somewhere. Hi! Did Daddy lock you in the garage? I'm talking to my friends. You want to come talk to my friends too? This is Russell Brand the cat. You are not entertained. So anyhow, the guys, who they are, it started with their, ignore my cat. It started with their voices and turned into who they are as a unit, who they are as individual men, and who they inspire as ARMY has been very life-changing for me and very comforting and affirming as far as who I am. That honestly is the root of where everything was falling apart for me. I was letting other people's whatever completely override and dictate who I felt like I was supposed to be. And you can't live like that. You cannot live in a place where you are, one, trying to live by someone else's comfort and somebody else's idea of who you're supposed to be. Two, you can't live under someone else's fear, because honestly that's probably a large part of what's controlling them. And BTS has broken through so much of that within me because they've had to work on breaking through that themselves. Oh my gosh, the crash course into their own history tells that story really well. Well, this week has been super anxiety inducing because when you start fighting for yourself and you start living your life and you start being who you are, a lot of people are going to be uncomfortable. People who felt like they knew you a certain way or they were only comfortable with you a certain way. I'm not here for that, but unfortunately, sometimes those people are in your life and really close to you in your life, whether close to you emotionally, close to your past, or close to you physically on a regular basis. As tensions build around you, they also build within you. I've had to do a lot of meditating this week and I have so many thoughts. It's been a hard week, but it's been a very fruitful week. In reaffirming where I am as ARMY, I've even talked about, with a couple other Nunas here in DMs, we've talked about people who give up being ARMY, and they don't tend to talk about why they give up being ARMY. And I believe I honestly know why. It's not easy, and you know, I referenced my last video. There's a certain point in your age and a certain point of what type of ARMY are you, where if they converge, you have really hard decisions you have to make that have consequences. It hurts. It hurts when you feel all that tension around you over something that brings you life and brings you closer and more within yourself. And for that matter, closer to God. It hurts. But at least yesterday I realized where my anxiety was coming from. So it was able to like morph from anxiety into more sadness that I realized I hadn't really explored. The sadness part, fine, but the anxiety part, why am I still letting other people's comfort levels and their notions about how I need to heal bother me? Is there truth to what they're saying? Am I feeling convicted about that? Or is this just like the crushed little inner child inside of me that is being challenged and telling herself, oh my God, they're right. I don't know what I'm doing. What if I'm wrong? So I really needed to sit with that. Enter tear. This morning for meditation, I was like, I sat down with the paper, sitting on the floor and trying to think out how to start meditation, and it wasn't coming easily. And I was like, well, I don't have any music on. I put it on my playlist called My Heart, which is their entire discography that's on Spotify. And I hit random, whatever comes on, I take it as God giving me the song I need to hear right then. Tear came on. And I am sure no one who is watching this can relate to this, but I have not looked up the translation. It is one of my favorite songs, and I know why the song was written, and I've never been willing to look up the translation. Today, with it being the song that hit me while I'm trying to explore, who do I trust? Do I trust other people and their comfort or fear, or do I trust myself? I decided to look up the lyrics. Can we just cry for a minute together? I had just put on my makeup. And don't put on your makeup and sit down and meditate. It's a terrible idea. Terrible idea. Okay, so I know that a lot of you guys, and I understand this, don't like the lyric videos because it robs views. Hopefully what you guys know is Big Hit still gets the money from that. Jay Gucci, who created this color code lyrics thing, they get no money from it because copyright is owned by Big Hit. And I can tell you, as somebody who does videos on BTS, before you guys can even hit play on a video, before it even actually finishes uploading, Big Hit is able to claim my entire video because their content is being played in it. If you see an ad, that money goes to our guys. It goes to BTS. I don't get a penny of that. Neither does this guy. So even though I'm robbing Bangtan TV of a view, I need the closed captions because that was the thing today. I'm not gonna play the whole song, but let's explore this for a minute. Just the build up even before they start singing is... 나도 모르게 내 눈가 위에 펴 새 내뱉지 못한 얘기들이 흐르고 미련이 날 얼굴 위를 기어 내게 넌 한때는 아이들 하지만 이제 쓰기만 한 빌 때늦은 자기 혐오로 얼룩지 심장을 스치는 저 바람내는 빌 이별은 거짓뿐이던 나 연극 그때 오해야 말았던 날 때가 누군가 시간을 되돌려준다면 어쩜 내가 좀 더 솔직할 수 있었을까 나만 아는 나의 금연 얼굴도 추억 초라한 내 안에 오랜 번투도 나를 보던 그 미소로 여전히 넌 나를 그렇게 또 사랑해줄 수 있었을까 영원 같은 소리 좀 그만해 어차피 원래 끝은 있는 거잖아 시작이 있다면 I don't wanna listen to it 너무 많은 소리 혹은 너무 많은 위로 I don't wanna listen to it 그냥 너무 무서웠어 좀 내가 너를 사랑했던 적이 아예 없는 것 같아서 늦었지만 너 치질했다고 너만 나를 사랑했다고 더 You're my two 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 What more can I say You're my two 같은 곳을 향해 걸었었는데 이것이 우리의 마지막인데요 영원을 말하던 우리였는데요 가차없이 서로를 부시네요 같이 꿈을 꿨다 생각했는데 그 꿈은 비로소 꿈이 되어 내 심장이 찢겨져 차라리 불태워줘 고통과 미련 그 무엇도 남지 않게끔 이별은 내게 TAR 눈물 따위는 사치니까 아름다운 이별 따위는 없을 테니 이제 시작해줘 Take it easy 천천히 심장을 돌려줘 그래 조각이 나버린 파편 밀어치러 밟아줘 매일은 그딴 게 더는 남지 않게 갈기 찢어 밝혀버린 내 심장을 싹 불태워줘
그래 거기야 뭘 망설이니 네가 원하는 그 결말이니 망설임 없이 어서 죽여 Yeah yeah burn it Yeah 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 burn it Yeah 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 burn it 타버린 채마저 남지 않게 이게 진짜 너고 이게 진짜 나야 인생 끝을 밟고 원망도 안 남아 달던 꿈은 깼고 나는 눈을 감아 이게 진짜 너고 이게 진짜 나야 같은 곳을 향해 걸어서는데 이것이 우리의 마지막이 돼 영원을 말하던 우리였는데 가차없이 서로를 부시네 같은 꿈을 꾼다 생각했는데 그 꿈은 비로소 꿈이 되어 내 심장이 찢겨져 그걸 태워줘 고통과 미련 그 무엇도 남지 않게끔
Well, clearly Suga and the guys wrote this together. I mean, I know Suga initially wrote this, but I know the other guys also had a part in the final product. I know that my situation is not the same as that situation. However, isn't the point of beauty and their music and why we are moved by them and by music as a whole? It's because the relatability factor of it. And I know the place I was in, I still feel that place, and you know, the lyrics really touch that and are part of that. And it almost reminds me in a sense of the line from Fake Love of I grew a flower that couldn't bloom and a dream that can't come true. I was drowning in those feelings in that place when everything changed for me. I haven't asked people in my life to understand this. This is honestly why I started my channel, because I realized that they would not understand, could not understand what the last 10 months, oh my God, almost a year at this point, have been for me, and how I now have belief and focus of what the rest of my life can be. I haven't even asked people in my life to understand. I haven't tried to explain it to them, and nobody has asked any questions about it. Instead, I'm starting to get attacks about it. It's almost as if they would have rather me had died than to find healing through BTS and myself. Anyhow, that's enough of that. But if, you know, this might just be a separate video. I don't think I'm gonna put this with Rise of Bangtan, because they don't actually go together, do they? Anyhow, if you are in a place, I don't know who is in a place of darkness who needs to hear that. I don't know who's in a place in their journey as an army where you need to hear that you're not alone in the struggle of being an army, and in those moments of wondering, is this too hard? Because there's comfort, right? There's comfort in going back to what we know. There's comfort in not ruffling feathers. I don't know if that's a cliche that translates well anywhere else, but there's comfort in not upsetting other people. Especially if those people, if there's a wedge between you, if your communication has lessened because of what you're going through. I ask you to explore and sit with the question, have you ever made a decision in your life based on someone else's desire, where you felt like you were more fulfilled by it? Have you ever made a decision based on what somebody else wanted for you, or more importantly, what they were upset by that you were doing, where you felt like you became a truer version of yourself and more in touch with yourself and happier in your life for having made that decision for them? I feel like we have to learn to trust our inner child, and I've never liked V's song Inner Child until this week. I started to like it more a few weeks ago when I started to hear what it was about. I think it was actually when the Map of the Soul book came out, the concept book, and I got to see V's photo concept for it. And I was moved. And then this week, I've been doing inner child work and shadow work a lot lately. Man, I had, like, I know it sounds so corny. I had a breakthrough. I had a breakthrough this week with my inner child, but I did. I had this huge moment that was very painful to relive. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't realize how much that moment in my childhood taught me to treat myself like I'm not trustworthy. To treat myself like I'm a young, dumb child still. Suddenly his whole song just hit me in different ways. And next thing I know, I'm on Instagram. I had this moment with my inner child, and immediately somebody who wants good for me, suddenly I have yet another person immediately on my case trying to tell me that the moment that I just had, that this clarity that I just got, that this beautiful, important realization I just had is wrong, and that I acquired it the wrong way, and that I'm looking at the wrong things. And it was very insulting. That was not my friend's goal when they reached out to me, but it was very insulting. I didn't reply back with any frustration, but again, that like further made me just sit with, where am I? Why am I here? And God, wouldn't it just be easier if I could just walk away from the stuff that I'm going through, and the shadow work and the inner child work and the self work that I'm doing because of the entire perspective that BTS has given me in my life. God, it would be easier because I'd be dead. It would be easier because I wouldn't be here anymore. And the fact that it really seems like people can't put that together or don't care. They'd rather you be dead than to do something that makes them uncomfortable that they can't understand. But it's not about them. I mean, that's the thing. It's not about them. If you've struggled, if you have had wedges in your life because of being an army, if you have had wedges in your communication and walls that were put up between you and people, feel free to talk to me about that. Let me know your experience as well. You can leave it in the comments so that other people can see that they're not alone also. I mean, I think that's been a huge thing, is me seeing in comments other army relate to me and then start to comment with each other and relate to each other with how they experience all of this. Know that you aren't alone, but a real question I have to ask is, because I'm sure there are people who, if you know what I'm talking about, if I sound crazy, then I sound crazy to you. But if you get what I'm talking about because you've experienced something along these lines yourself, then you also know that the people in your life sort of want to blame this on BTS. They want to go, whoa, the problems we're having is because you are an army, because BTS has filled your head. And I want to remind you that's not true. They're only amplifying and bringing to the surface and bringing to the light what was already going on, what was already inside of you, needs you already had that you knew you needed to be met, and you're finally finding that outlet within yourself. BTS is healing and amplifying. That is it. If you have walls and tensions between you and people in your life, it's painful. And as an army, it can be even more painful. However, the realization that I've come to is painful to deny yourself of who you are and the things that you need just to make the relationships in your life feel a little less awkward. Because ultimately, are they less awkward? If you're struggling with some of your relationships around you, that struggle is there with or without BTS. And if you're trying to deny what your soul is telling you and what brings you joy in order to make those relationships a little more comfortable, that's so much more painful. I mean, you're crushing your soul when you do that. That's enough for my mental health rant of being an army. This video did not start with me intending to do that. This was supposed to be a Rise of Bangtan reaction. So, if it's a little incoherent, I apologize. God bless you. You don't ever walk alone. And if you are back and forth and up and down and roller coastering between darkness and light, hope and desperation right now. You're not alone. You're not alone in the roller coaster. Like I said, this week has been super anxious to the point where there were 2 different days I was afraid I was actually having a heart attack. And I actually thought, if I have a heart attack, I hope that I'm cognizant enough to leave a comment on my YouTube so that my friends, so that my new family here can know that I love them and that I'm thankful for them. That's what this community is. That is what it is. And for people who don't understand it, they don't understand it. And they don't have to. If you're here and you understand that, welcome. Hugs. Whether you've known this feeling for the last 6 months, whether you've known this feeling for the last 6 years, I love you. And God loves you. And God gave us BTS. And BTS loves us. And He desperately wants you to love yourself. It is about you. It's about you. Let it be about you. Let your life be about who God intended for you to be. Because you can't give to other people until you figure out who you are, until you're figuring out. You don't have to figure out. We're not looking for a final destination here. We're not looking for an end result. We're looking to be on the journey to ourselves, to who God built each of us individually to be. And that will upset people around you. Let it. Let your journey be about you so that you can give to others. Anyhow, BTS loves you. Love yourself. I like Instagram better than Twitter, so if you want to find me on social media, that's the place.